Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here. We're going to talk about something which is really exciting. You know, we talk about emotional traumas all the time, but now we have proof positive that they actually do appear in our brain. When we do a normal person's brain scan, we find that there are these little pinpoint of lightness on a CT scan and then concentric circles around that. And I was like, wow, look at that. Very interesting. And, and they persist. That little pinpoint of brightness and the circles persist until that emotional trauma has been cleared. And then they disappear. Also, it's been found that those areas where that particular point ends up being, a lot of times can actually connects to what's going on in the body. Person has this pinpoint of emotional trauma, all of a sudden they have testicular cancer, all of a sudden they have this one over here which connects to ovarian cancer, and on and on and on. So wow, there is a process going on in the brain that actually connects to our body as to what's going on. And we need to clear these emotions away and allow ourselves to heal. If we weren't meant to hold on to these emotional traumas forever, and when they do, they really do cause havoc in our body. It's a stress. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And stress, releases cortisol and adrenaline and norepinephrine and on and all these different chemicals. And these chemicals actually change our DNA and they change our bodily ability to work. They change our hormones, and every different gland is actually working differently. And it changes not only that, but we are beings of light. And every atom itself is actually vibrating like this, vibrating. We get down inside the atom, those little subatomic particles are vibrating at a particular rate. And then when we add an emotional trauma to it, they change their vibration and they start vibrating in a different way. And then all the other atoms around it, this is science now, start vibrating slightly different also. And then we get an organ and it starts vibrating in a slightly different way also. And then we get what's called disease. And it's interesting when we have this emotional trauma, which is shown on our brain scan, our CT scan, it also takes and traps toxins, environmental toxins, things around us, and hold those in the body, and we start creating even more disease. And so not everything is coming from the environment causing us to have all this going on, but our stress is really real. Now, it doesn't really matter if it's a stress that we saw from an emotional trauma that we saw today. Maybe we saw somebody get hit. I know, I saw that a while back. A lady had a red umbrella. She was walking across the street. This man made a U-turn really fast and hit her. And boy, terrible, absolutely terrible. I had to work through that one myself. Or maybe you remember a particular incident that was emotionally powerful for you, and from there it creates that little pinpoint of whiteness on the CT scan with these concentric circles. It doesn't matter as far as the brain is concerned whether it was something that you saw in real life or something that you remembered or made up also. And so very interesting, that we create these emotional traumas inside of us, and it's really important that we work through them and heal them. And otherwise, we just keep this process going on, and that concentric circles and that pinpoint of light never go away. And eventually, because of the change of the vibration, that emotional change within our body, it leads us to becoming down with cancer or some other disease, which is, boy, science is really coming together with spirituality. There's no doubt about it. We've been talking about this in metaphysics and in all spiritual texts that, these emotions will, cause problems, cause disease. And they do. Now we know absolutely positively. And so we are these beings of light, and we have these subatomic particles, which are light. They're moving faster than light, and it's really very, very interesting. So how do we get to clear particular types of, emotional traumas that have gone on? Some of them people don't want to clear. I knew a lady particularly who, her daughter died, and she held on to that trauma for over 20 years. And she had cancer once. They beat the cancer. That time, the second time, it killed her. But she would not let go of the past. She would not let go of the sadness. And she said that straight out. I'm not going to let that go now. It wasn't until almost 20 years later that she did finally let it go. And from there, she started to heal, but the cancer caught up with her again. So sometimes we just make up our minds that we're not going to, don't want to heal for some reason, and that's all part of the process of living. And we can make those choices at any time, but we can also make another choice and say, I want to heal from this emotional trauma. Maybe we had some kind of abuse that went on when we were a kid. We perceived it as abuse when we were a kid. Maybe our mom used to spank us, or our dad used to spank us, or maybe our brother or something used to, be mean to us, or whatever it was. We can take and then we create that pinpoint of light inside our brain with the concentric circles, and that needs to be worked out. Otherwise, we will come down with those diseases. So how do we heal this? One of my favorite books by Louise Hay is, Heal Your Body. Heal Your Body. This has been around forever. It has a long list of different ailments and what it means, and is really connected to what's going on in your body. It's very interesting that, you can use what's called kinesiology. Kinesiology, you can look that up. And I've used it so many times. When we used to have gatherings here at the house, spiritual gatherings on Sundays, I would take and put little pieces of paper with something printed on it into a brown paper bag. One had a bunch of positive things on it, like love, God, peace, and another one had hate, anger, all kinds of different negative things in it. I would give the person the positive things and do kinesiology, hold out their arm, and I would push down, and if with the positive words, they would go strong. They didn't know they were positive words, but they would go strong. With the negative words, they would go weak, and it worked every single time. It amazed me in general ways, I'm telling you. There's other ways to do it yourself with kinesiology. You can take two fingers like this, and try to keep them from being pulled apart, and try to pull them apart. And if you say this, I'll be strong if it's a positive, and weak if it's a negative. And if you can pull them apart, that's a yes or a no, and a no being a negative. And you can use that for asking questions. There's a lot of long lists of kinesiology questions out there that you can find on the internet. And you can go through those and see if you're it can narrow down what it is. Maybe you've forgotten what the trauma is, and a lot of times that happens, even no doubt about that. And we have to narrow down what it is. Another way is to pull your elbow in close and push down. And if you can't push down, that's a positive. If you can push down, that's a negative, And so that you become weak. That's just another way. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Until we focus on exactly what that issue was. Maybe something a long time ago, maybe even from your childhood. Maybe even happened to you last month or last week, in the last 2 days, whatever it is. Whatever it is, we need to focus in on that and allow it to come to the surface. Pardon me. And when we get that to the surface, we allow ourselves to heal that. We get that to the surface, our emotional centers, the meridians in our body, as we talk about in Chinese medicine, these are energy flows that move through us. And it's no different than electricity, absolutely no different. And it's kind of like magnetic resonance that moves through us, and that's what the CT scan is actually seeing on the scan itself. So you can actually just, once you bring that up, you can use your hand and you can go bring that particular trauma up and move it over your head like this, and that'll help to, because this has energy also. Or you can take a magnet like this. This is just one I got at Home Depot. That's a pretty powerful magnet, and just run it over your head like so. And it's kind of like a credit card, you know what I mean? You take a magnetic strip and you put the magnet near it. It doesn't work anymore. Same thing here. It really allows the person to let go of that particular trauma. But you have to make sure it's that particular trauma is exactly what it's supposed to be healed. And you can, like I said, find a bunch of kinesiology list of different things that you can go through to help you narrow down exactly what that is. And this even works with animals. I know a particular person who he does this for a living, and mostly with people, and one of the things he had was a horse come to him. The owner brought the horse to him, and he went to the horse, and they're out in the pasture, and they usually use a person who is a surrogate beside the horse to hold onto the horse, and they do the kinesiology with the person. So the person would go, is this about a person? No, weak. Is this about a dog? No, weak. And then all of a sudden he looked up and he wasn't finding anything. He saw birds and he went, is this a bird? And all of a sudden it went strong. And everybody started laughing, a bird, that's weird. But the owner goes, that makes sense. That really does make sense. Wait. And because this, right beside the horse's, stall, there was a bird nest, and the horse, stuck his head out there every day and kept looking at the little baby birds, and the mama was feeding them all the time. But during the night, a couple of days ago, one of the baby birds fell out and, got cold and died, and the horse watched all this. And so they did a clearing with the magnet over the horse about that particular thing, and the lameness disappeared. They had vets to come out and look at that horse and why that horse is lame over and over again. They couldn't find it. But when they did that clearing, just like that, completely gone. So, and animals pick up feelings and energy from us. There's absolutely no doubt about that, Actually, my mother died in August, and I've been doing my grieving process about this. I was feeling sad on Thanksgiving, and the other day I was just feeling really sad, and it was why is this? So I decided, well, I'm going to watch something positive and uplifting, and so I watched White Christmas with Bing Crosby. I used to watch that with my mom. And I got about 90% through the movie, and I just burst into tears, and it just came to me right there. You're sad about your mom, Paul. You're sad about your mom. And I went to my wife, and she held me, and I was just bawling. It just just all coming out, And I needed to release that. There's no doubt about that. I needed to get rid of all that emotional trauma. I'm sure there was a white spot with concentric rings going on there, and I needed to get rid of that emotional trauma, that sadness that was going on about my mom passing. And, she was 83, almost 84, but at the same time, she had a good life. But, we do miss people when they move to the other side into the other realm. And so it was really interesting because our little black dog by the name of Fig or Higo, she came over while I was crying, and I had my hand on the bed where my wife was, and she put her paw on top of my hand and licked it. It was like I'm gonna hold your hand and give you a kiss. And she was looking at me. It says, "What's wrong, Papa?" Animals pick this up automatically. They have feelings too. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And so allow yourself to look up one of these kinesiology lists, and so you can print it out for yourself, and then start going through all the different questions it has there, and then start clearing each one, and start doing the kinesiology on each question to find out exactly what it is that you need to clear emotionally as far as that goes, that particular trauma that you had. And it's powerful. Some of these traumas are so powerful, you know, like my mother passing, that we actually just have to let the feelings out. Sometimes, you know, it's good to watch a movie that will bring that stuff up and allow yourself to clear it and just cry and cry and cry until that's cleared. Other times we just can't put our finger on it. You know, what is that? And sometimes just going through the list, we can finally pinpoint exactly what it is, to allow ourselves to feel at ease and connect with what it is, maybe even from our childhood, maybe even when we were very young, at 4, 5, or 6, that happened that we don't even remember, or we blocked it out. And we can actually clear all that and allow ourselves to be free. Now, emotional freedom is the biggest freedom of all. There's no doubt about it. I think that we have great power because we have this light inside, which we are connected to that one great power, that one great light. And we are supposed to be able to help others. And if we can't help ourselves, how can we help other people? It's not possible. So allowing ourselves to be emotionally free, emotionally untethered, allowing ourselves to work through this process of clearing these emotions away, allows those particular memories in our brains on CT scans to disappear, and then we can find true freedom in our heart. Absolutely, positively. So work through this, and I'm sure it'll work for you, absolutely. So if you want to get a hold of me, my phone number is 831-869-9119, 831-869-9119. I'm on the Atlantic Standard Time, which is, I live in Puerto Rico. And so I go to bed early actually by 8 p.m., so call me early. Or you can text me at that, or you can WhatsApp me at that, and all my consultations are free. And I would love to help you in any way, shape, or form, whether it be spiritual or herbal, and we can move you to the next level. Also, my email address is drpaulhaider, drpaulhaider @gmail.com. And I would love to help you in any way, shape, or form I can. If you live outside the United States, you know, email me. It was the best way to go. There's absolutely no doubt about it. My Skype address is drpaulhaider also. You can send me an invite, and we can talk that way, too. If you live in another country outside the United States, in Europe or Africa or India, you know, you may have to stay up kind of late to be able to get a hold of me because, you know, we have big time zone differences. So I would love to connect with you and help you. And if you care to subscribe, that is really greatly appreciated. If you want to become a patron, there's a link down there. And if you have particular questions, you could become one of my major patrons of $20 a month. I will write and make videos specifically for you. So you let me know, and I would love to help you in any way, shape, or form. And also, if you care to make a donation, that's greatly appreciated. The link is down below, and you can go to my website, paulhaider.com, www.paulhaider.com, and up in the right-hand corner, you'll see donations. And also my diet there says my diet, and check that out also. So have a wonderful, wonderful day, but most of all, above everything else, remember this one thing. I love you.